Today I'm going to teach you how to build and launch a satellite. Now, if you want a basic design, I recommend going ahead with this. I'm turning on symmetry mode. Okay. If you want this to be dockable with other satellites, put docking ports here and here. Okay? This is what you put down. Fairly simple. But if you don't want it to be dockable and just to be a satellite, you want to rotate the drone, put these there. And well, so I show you, I'm going to launch. I don't care. Show you, this is what your satellite should look like. Now, if it's dockable, you can stack it up in builds and stuff. But I tend to use this and put docking ports on the side, as well as structural parts here and here, so it looks like they're not just, floating around with gigantic gaps, but actually look like modules and stuff. Now, take into consideration that these cannot dock on their own, unless you want to find a way to make that work. Then, by all means, you shall do it. But this tutorial is for people who do not have the full free version. I'm going to go ahead and test my drone. Nope. Structural parts did not go on as I intended. But that's okay, because I'm going to remove these. And put solar panels here. Now, then what you're going to want to do is put down a fairing to encase it. First, you're going to want to make sure that, it's all good. Okay. Since we're just launching one satellite, we want a fairly simple design. Now, if we're launching, say, multiple, then you want to copy it and paste it. Put down this fairing. Okay, when you're done putting down as many satellites as you need, remember you have a bit of space. Put down a separator. Okay? Put down a fuel tank and a Valiant engine. What this is going to do is provide you a good in-space priority for when you're in space. You're going to want to put down a big fuel tank, and another one. You're going to want to put down side separators somewhere around here. Put down 2 fuel tanks, and put on the engines. Now we're going to use a trick here to make it look like we have a Titan engine, which only produces half the thrust. Now, I did not use this in my other video, because in the other video about the Titan engine, because I wanted to actually see it. Normally the Titan engines would be a way bigger, so we're going to add that in this. Now, if you don't look at the approval of having how Titan engines, is that we have a 3 thrust to weight ratio, and it's going to launch way better using just these two than this stage. This is gonna be how you activate the stage. Okay. You're gonna want to do these boosters, then the middle, then that one, then the fairing. Let's launch. What you're gonna want to do, you see that little exhaust pipe on the side? You're gonna want to click both of those to turn on both engines. Do the same for the other side, but not this area, because if you do, you'll waste all your fuel. There. Because it's a side separator, it doesn't use all the fuel from the middle tank. Now just follow along with this time lapse until I get to the part I need. Well, there's not really gonna be a time lapse because this is moving pretty fast. When is it apoapsis or periapsis? Well, when this little dot reaches 10 kilometers, it says you should be facing 45 degrees, but normally you should only be facing 45 to 90 degrees when you hit 600 on velocity. It's near the time warp in the corner. See, now that I'm out of fuel on those boosters, I want to separate them. Okay? Turn off my thrust, because that would ruin it. Click both exhaust pipes. And time warp until I'm near the top, but not all the way, so that I can make my adjustments. Now I wait. Normally people would be impatient and just time warp all the way until you're on the dot. That's not how this works. You need to be patient because space movement is slow and cautious. Okay. And if you want, you can add RCS thrusters to stabilize your orbit. Or just use an engine, the old-fashioned way. But I got an orbit of perfectly around 11 meters. 50, 44, looks good. Seems like you don't need this stage. So we'll just deploy that. Okay, we'll separate the fairing. And then separate that. We separate that and also that so that we don't have any space debris. Now for some reason the way gravity works in this game, if two objects are near each other, they'll pull each other toward each other. So if you could fit some RCS here on the corners, merge the probe with a fuel tank, and place an RCS on the edge of where the solar panel is, and activate RCS on the rocket. So that way you have maneuverable satellites. Whee! I'm running away! No. Anyway, it has no fuel, so you don't have to worry about an annoying fuel counter. And essentially, it looks cool. I should not have done that. Anyway, Just don't do that, and you'll be all set and launch your satellite in orbit. See you in the next one. Goodbye.